Okay, this is a video for the Mangird MT4, as the number 4 would indicate. With some sets, sometimes numbers mean nothing. This actually has 4 drivers, 3 balanced armatures, and a single dynamic. I'll put a picture in front. I'll maybe do a close-up unbox later and link it underneath this vid. I've done some unboxings recently. I thought I'm doing too many of those. It is a very, very nice fitting shell. It's not bulbous. It doesn't have that weird bump that kind of gets onto people the way when it sits in. This fits really, really well. As you can see, it's a flush 2-pin. It's 0.078, so you can use any aftermarket cable with it. The stock cable is actually nice. It comes with a lot of tips. I'm using what looks like the KZ tips, but that actually came with this set, so I was tip rolling with this. The original ones were a little too small, went to foam. I don't like foam. And then dug around and found the black ones, and they fit perfect, like sucks right here. So fit is great. It's listed at $199. Let's go ahead and get in the music and talk about it. Okay, bass, using Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, the 808 Roland, Violent Femmes, Please Do Not Go. I'm listening for 4-string bass guitar. Sounds slightly slackened. Tupac Ambitions as a rider, mid-90s, West Coast, some sampling, deck hits. Led Zeppelin when the levee breaks, and intentionally very produced, emphasized kick drum. Eurythmics, keyboards and synthesizers, Led Zeppelin, Days of Confused, among other tracks that I listen to. Listening to Big Boy, Kill Jill, that drop. The bass hits very good. This has got plenty of bass, as the graph indicates. You are not lacking. It is always present. That's the good point and the bad point. The strange point is that it doesn't seem to get into the way of vocals at any point, but it's always like the bassist is standing next to the vocalist, if you know what I mean. So if you like your bass, this would be a set that you would consider. If you like your bass to be placed a little bit further away from the vocalist, this might not be your set. So I'll go ahead and tip that card right away. So all of the low frequency hits, the 4-string bass guitar and Violent Femmes sounded good. The hit on Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider, sounded great. No, not that one. Actually, right here. This sounded good. It had authority. It sounded like I was getting all the micro details. It didn't sound in the way. It just sounds like it's always there. So bass is done with emphasis. Is the best way to put it. You know, the texture and all that kind of bullshit that people put on bass. 55 hertz is 55 hertz. There is sometimes a sense where bass can seem to the brain to be somewhat slow, and that's related to maybe the way that it's encased or the material it's encased in. Stuff that's in metal shells seems to excel. The TFC number 3, the titanium version, the KXXS, the Belon. There's a lot of sets that are single dynamic and in a metal housing that seem to do bass really good. And then sometimes drivers that are in other materials seem to do it less impressively. So a lot of people talking about the Oxygen O2, a set that I had fit issues with, but that's a metal shell, single driver. If you get the fit, you're going to get it right. This is a little bit different. So you're going to get your bass, the bass lines sound right, the 4 strings are present, the kick drum is authoritative, but there is the blessing and the curse. It will always be with you, and that's the bass. I'll keep it simple. The bass is there. It's not overwhelming, but you're aware of its presence at all time. That itself could equal overwhelming for some people. So that's the bass. Okay, the mids, Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, Fleetwood Mac, several tracks off the Rumors album, Doobie Brothers, Black Sabbath, Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Light, Jim Croce, Operator, Time in a Bottle, a couple other tracks. Let me go ahead and skip up to what I started tripping on. Actually, let me go to this first. That's treble. Fuck it. No, it's not. This is Aerosmith, No More, No More. I'm listening for this dip in the frequency made me think that there might be, you see the late mid bump, but still sometimes this little dip right here can have side effects on the vocals, and then you've got elevated bass on the left side. It could seem to get lost. At actually no point did any vocal replay ever seem to be anything but excellent. On this album, Aerosmith Toys in the Attic, Steven Tyler's vocals sounded perfectly positioned like they're supposed to be. Later on, when I was listening to Hey Hey What Can I Do and Kashmir by Led Zeppelin with the timestamp cymbal strikes, they sounded excellent. The cymbal strikes sound excellent. That's in the trouble. The vocals in Hey What Can I Do and Kashmir, and also in Aerosmith, and everything else that I listened to, everything sounded good. The guitar sounded very, very good at times, like luscious mids is kind of this way to describe it. But you've got that bass always present. So when I'm listening to Hey, What Can I Do? And then the bass line is in the background, John Paul Jones. You are aware of him all the time. It doesn't seem to diminish the quality of the vocals. It's not getting up into the treble. It's not creating a veil, but it's always present. That's the continuing theme. So listening to vocal-centric music, it wouldn't be... I also listened to a few tracks off of this. Tin Man, Sister Golden Hair, Lonely People, because the vocals I'm listening for them to be a little up or a little bit back. They sounded proper. And on this album, the bassist really isn't ever up there, but in a lot of other stuff I listen to, the bassist is. So the mids can't be discussed without talking about the bass, and the bass is getting in on the mids. Doesn't seem to be taking away my ability to hear sonic cues, because that's what I do, OCD, on stuff. But I'm aware of it, like somebody's behind me and I know they're looking over my shoulder. I can still do what I'm trying to do, but I want to turn around and say, get back the fuck up, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like saying to the bass. And I'm a bass head. The mids come through. The information there is reasonably clear, if not totally clear. But I'm so aware of the low frequency presence at all times. That's the mids. They're good. But if you like your bass to be put in its spot, you know, what does that mean? That means that when you've got a mix and there's a bassist in there and you know when his line comes in, you're focusing on it. On this set, you're aware of his presence at other points of the track where you might not be thinking of the bassist. Like, here comes his solo, or here comes that line that I like. You know, as soon as the track starts and as soon as the bassist starts to pull strings, you're aware. Then that's fine for people that love bass or bass headish. People that are audiophiles like myself that want to hear stuff exactly the way it's supposed to be mastered. It's a little bit much. So the mids aren't bad, but the bass is right there. It's right there. If there were some people that got the L3 and they're like, my bass didn't thump. This will thump. That would not be a problem with this set. And either would be the treble. Either would be the yeah, that sounds actually right. And that's the mids. Let me get to the treble. Okay, let's get into the treble. When I was looking at this graph and before I actually started listening to it, sometimes I graph and then listen, sometimes I listen and graph it. Actually, come to think of it, it doesn't really make a difference. If something sounds a certain way, it's going to come through, and graphs will confirm it. Graphs, that set right there, the Tia Trio, is absolutely fantastic. And the graph is kind of weird. You look at the graph and you're like, I don't know. You listen to it, oh, you do know. That is a really fucking good set right there. That'll be coming down the road. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that whenever, you know, I like the 6 that's kind of dropped, even though my favorite, the MEST, actually seems to have a little bump right there. I don't know. So the first thing I'm thinking of is maybe part of the cymbals are going to be a little bit odd. So I went and looked at an old print that I had. And I was looking at the symbols of No More, No More, 7, 13, 14, 15. I was looking at, hey, what can I do? Again, 7, 13, Kashmir, 35, 102, 111, 138, with significant strikes. I went and listened to that stuff because I thought the symbols will tell me. The symbols on No More, No More sounded a little bit not ideal to me. And I thought, oh, shit, that's a problem. And then the next thing I go to is, hey, hey, what can I do? And this is Ben Kubesh. This was made in 2012, 8 years later after this dude uploaded it. who thumbed this down? Let me thumb this up for a second. Let's put some shine on dude. I'm sure he's long gone and had kids and all this stuff. This is Hey Hey What Can I Do? And what I'm listening to is what he's about to get into. Let's watch him. You're not going to hear it, but you can start to see him. If you're a drummer, you can probably hear it in your head. Okay, see those? I'm listening for those. They sounded fucking excellent. I went back and listened to No More, No More, and the DSD version and the regular version that I have are actually significantly different. This is the regular version, and this is the DSD, and the DSD sounds great, and the regular version, which is a FLAC, sounds okay. Does DSD make a difference? I don't fucking know. I didn't realize that this was not as good as the other one. So, Hey Hey What Can I Do? Those cymbal strikes sounded excellent. And then I was listening to Robert Plant's vocals because I'm also looking at the mids again. Robert Plant sounds excellent, and the guitar sounds fucking excellent. And the drums, cymbal crashes, strikes sound fucking brilliant. They sound really good. But again, as mentioned previously, John Paul Jones is ever present. He is right there. He is always there. That if you're into that, then I guess you'd like the set. It doesn't do it to the point where it's veiling and diminishing the replay of what follows, which is everything, the mids and the treble. The cymbal strikes sound clear and crisp and fucking beautiful. Robert Plant's vocals sound kind of luscious and great. There's something about the mids on this that I actually like, even though looking on a graph you might think, oh, I don't know. No, that's probably the best part of this fucking set is right here. This part right here. It's got the V14 is tuned not unlike this, but that's a very, very energetic, clinical, surgical strike on your brain. Like your OCD will go absolutely wild with the V14. This is because of the elevated and dynamic based bass. I'm a fucking genius. It's a very different way of the mid expression. It's I thought that the guitar, or is that a mandolin in fucking Hey What Can I Do? Hey Hey What Can I Do? Let me go back for a second. Hey Hey What Can I Do? Is there a wiki? I just want to see what he's playing in here. Are you gonna tell me? Fuck, is it mandolin? I'm not really sure. It's coming in great. Someone will come in and comment on that. I don't recall if that's John Paul Jones that's actually... Remember, these guys are sliders on a deck. They played it together. They played it separately. They put it in, and they laid it one on top of the other, and they put this... You can see John Bonham's Hey, What Can I Do? Studio take on the internet, I believe. It's just the audio of him saying, bloody hell, and then he does it. I believe it's that. Yeah, it is this. No, it's the Purdy Shuffle on Fool in the Rain. I'm sorry. But that's kind of how it is. Come in and do your thing a couple times, got ya. And then bassist comes in. So John Paul Jones might have played the bass plus mandolin. I don't know. I'm going off on a little rampage here. Sorry. But that sounds fucking fantastic. So the bass is always there. The mids sound fine. The bass sounds like it's getting in on it. Not degrading the quality. Not ideal. The treble sounds fine. The information that's supposed to be there sounds good enough for my OCD. The bass is always there, though. Even on Hey, What Can I Do? I was aware of John Paul Jones' presence when he came in and laid down his bass line. Like, always there. I don't know. Do I wreck the set? I'm gotta wait. As you can see, I got the Fearless right there. I got the LZA7. I like the LZA7. I think it's a very good set with the gold filter or the red filter. I think that the other ones are almost worthless. The blue, the silver, forget about them, throw them away. I can't see any point in their existence. But the red and gold is pretty good. This is for people that love bass, and I don't know. I guess I'm trying to be kind. When I listened to this earlier, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this first because I'm so happy about it. And then I sat down and I started to compare it with other sets that I'm familiar with, and then I came back down to earth just in time before I did this video. So it's a good set. It's priced in a reasonable range for its replay quality. You better love your bass because it's always going to be there. And that is the MT4. It's a good set. I'm going to have to compare it with other stuff. It is not on the level of the L5. I'll tell you that right now. There's some people that are thinking like that wait is too long. Listen, people, you've got two options. One is, somebody also mentioned the 64 Neo has got like a 4-week wait. If you want stuff done well and not, you know, stuff breaking, bad quality, it's going to take time. You can't really have both unless you're dealing with a massive company like a Sony or something. You can't have a bunch of stuff and a bunch of great quality. You either got to move slow and cautious and take care. I did a video about quality control, or you just push it out because, you know, we don't want to lose the orders. So I love the L5, and kudos to them for releasing some kind of statement today saying it's going to take, you know, 20 to 35 days. And hey, good stuff. I'm waiting for my custom MESTs right now, and I'm a little borderline restless, but I want it done right. So this is the way it goes. So this is not on the level of L5. And I'm out.